I think everyone would say it, and I'll be one of the first. Michigan did shoot the lights out in their opener over Oakland. Because the lights went out. They were flickering at the Chrysler Center, and Michigan played on, and Trey McKinney even hit a shot as the lights went out. And in the end, Michigan comes out and plays an A-plus first half, and they roll to a 43-point victory, 121-78. It is over. Welcome in as the curtain goes up on the Michigan basketball season. Rousing success. Awesome all the way around the 121 points, the fifth highest scoring output ever for Michigan. They drained 19 triples. That tied a program record, and that was one of the records. They ended up with the most points they ever had in program history at the half, and we'll tell you about that as we move through. If you're someone that's watching this live, we're here after every Michigan basketball game. If you're watching this after the fact, listening to it on the podcast, you have that in your back pocket anytime this year, late night game, whatever, you know that it'll be there wherever you get your podcasts and all that. So subscribe. It gives you a reminder, and that comes in handy, I have found, over the course of time. Hey, talking basketball, there you go. But it was a banner night at the Chrysler Center as Michigan raised their 2025 Big Ten tournament champion maize and blue banner to the rafters. The team all gathering around as they had a ceremony right there on the court prior to the game. That was nice. Always nice to celebrate a championship. And this opener, Michigan was a 24.5 point favorite, and they slapped a 20-0 run on the Golden Grizzlies in the first half, and you knew it was over then. And they went on to score 31 at the half or lead by 31 at the half, and had a 69-38 lead. The 69 points was a program record. I wanted it, at one point I said maybe 67 would be good, because then, the kids could say, hey, 6-7 at the half, and they would have fun that way. But they ended up getting 69, which is a fun number to boot. So, and a program record. So there you go. If you're watching this or listening to it after the fact, and you look at the starting lineup, you'll see that you had Elliot Cadeau and Damari Burnett in the backcourt, and the front line was Roddy Gale Jr., Ade Mara, and Morez Johnson Jr. You say, oh, okay, that's the wait. Where's Yaks? Yaks hurt his right hand this week. He had a wrap on it, and Steve Smith, the color analyst, said it a couple times on the broadcast. Yaks is just using his left hand to do everything, except when it comes down to shooting. Even a dunk when he was wide open and going down on the break, he did dunk it, but I just threw it in there, and then he would hold the hand a little bit. So that is something to monitor. I would say, I don't know if you get a perfect basketball game. This is about as close as you would get. Michigan's a team that had some turnover problems, of course, last year, and it plagued them. And then the first two exhibition games, they had turnovers, a lot of turnovers as well. But against St. John's, they only had 2 in the final 15 minutes. So, when they say they cleaned it up, they worked on it. But how about at the half, 18 assists and just 4 turnovers for the maize and blue? And I know Dusty May, Dusty May's going to like a lot of things. And he couldn't help but have, if you want to know what a real Dusty May smile looks like, late in that game, his son Charlie hit a 3, and there was the smile from Dusty. That's nice. That might be the only 3 he makes. Who knows how it goes? But the crowd was chanting his name, and that was a cool moment. Obviously, for the coach, Michigan ends up with just 8 turnovers. and they have 29 assists. Like I said, an A-plus effort, an A-plus report card. You liked everything that you saw out there if you were a Michigan fan. Ty chiming in. He thought they looked good. Less turnovers, good shooting. Yet not just good shooting, I would say spectacular shooting. The way they were ringing it up, it was about as good as it gets. LJ is in. He thought it was a very fun game. And he says this team could possibly be a Final Four contender. Lots of bright spots with this team. Now, it's game one, and you talk about the Final Four, and it's appropriate. It's appropriate. You look at this roster; they're a deep roster. Their front court is one of the best in the country, and you got a player like Yaks. Those are the kind of things that you're going to dream about, think about. It's in play, and it's not crazy to talk about even after they just played one game. Maize and Blue, he calls himself a lover. He says he knows it was one game. He knows it was Oakland, but wow, this team looks good. Well, that's, yeah. Yeah, they sure did. I watched them play against Cincinnati and St. John's at the Garden. The way they played against St. John's, they turned it over so much against Cincinnati, and in the first half, it was an ugly game, and then they got a lot better in the second half. But the way they played against St. John's, who was expected to be, I don't know about a Final Four team, but a legit top 10 team with some big time players and playing in the Big Apple, you could see that Michigan was up to the challenge. And the thing for me, you don't know till you get them all out there. You could see it tonight. I knew from watching Morez Johnson Jr., the transfer from Illinois, when he played in Switzerland with the under-19 Team USA this summer. I watched all of those games, and I was just sitting back and saying, this guy's incredible. He's blocking shots everywhere. He's running the floor. He's dunking. He can low post. He's a player that every team in the country would want. And, you saw that from him tonight. And then Ade Mara, I didn't know all of what he was going to be able to bring. He's 7'3". That's nice. But against Louisville, and you saw it a little bit even tonight, you can throw it down on the post. I mean, he spun around. Steve Smith said he looked like Elijah. He's got some moves, some low post moves down on the block. He's a tremendous passer. You didn't really see that from him tonight. And he can contest at 7'3". He's going after some shots. Of course, MJJ could do that as well. So could Yaks. You love it. You love it. After Yaks, I would put Elliot Cadeau as their most important player. And Cadeau was awesome tonight. And he ends up with 12 assists, 5 points, 12 assists, but a beautiful floor game. You can see it from Cadeau, their point guard, and just on down the list. I would say something else that jumped out, something that you did not see, but yours truly was predicting. I don't think it was a very hot take or stepping out on the limb, but I thought that Trey McKinney, that jumper, it looked just too good, too pure watching him shoot. I thought that he would be their best 3-point shooter when all was said and done. And he was dialing it up, and you could see it tonight if you have not watched him, and then you just watched his long-range game tonight. I mean, he was 6 of 8 from downtown. Beautiful shooting from McKinney. Actually, Michigan shot 54% from downtown, 64% from the field. Just looking at some of the numbers here, it was good all the way through. Yeah, you should have been impressed by McKinney. LJ asking if most of the starters are transfer portal guys. Well, the starters tonight, I mean, Yaks is going to start, I would assume, once his hand gets right. But Elliot Cadeau was a transfer from Carolina. Burnett was a transfer, a two-time transfer, but he transferred in last year. Gale's a transfer from Ohio State. Mara, a transfer from UCLA. And you're right, Morez Johnson Jr., a transfer from Illinois. So, an entire transfer portal starting lineup. Burnett already been around the block once with Michigan, but that's a good point. As you look down at it and you go through it, Michigan Go Blue 1 2 3 4 says, "Are you worried at all about Yax's hand injury?" I would say, yeah, I think I would be worried about it. Would you play him against Oakland if you thought that there was any worries that they don't play? What's today, the 3rd? And you got 8 more days. If they wanted to, they could have sat him out in this game and had 8 days. Do you assume then to maybe get it 100%? But they allowed him to wrap it and play. And I know a lot of Michigan fans, I'm sure it entered a lot of your minds that once Michigan slapped a 20-0 run on them, why not take Yax out? Hey, you've seen enough of Yax. He's looking pretty good. Take him out. But, he played and he kept playing. If you're going to play, I think that from Dusty May's standpoint, and I don't know, there couldn't be something with the fans to say that's not how it's supposed to happen. But when Yax wants to be the Big Ten Player of the Year, he wants to be the National Player of the Year. If you only play him for 5 minutes, that's going to affect his statistics. So I think you got him in there. And if he was going to play, he wanted to play so he could put up some numbers. And I know that that doesn't go completely with, hey, it's all about the team. Who cares about any of that stuff? But you make that decision before the game. Ty was more impressed than Johnson. Or he says Johnson is a better player than I expected. Yeah, Johnson at times will have a play where he does things. You saw him blocking shots. Michigan will do this year. They'll lead the country in 3-point shot attempts blocked. They'll be the team that's blocking him. You saw Johnson do that against St. John's. He was doing that. He was doing that over in Switzerland. He blocks shots. He blocks 3-pointers. Then he goes and gets it, runs the floor, and dunks. He's got a low post game. Sky's the limit for that guy. He's tremendous. If you stop short of saying great, but that's like the thing that you go with his team. Yeah, Yax is a player of the year type player. Morez Johnson Jr. is a player that any team in the country would want. Everything that he brings to the table, he's fabulous. And then Mara seems to be a secret weapon. 7-3 with good low post moves around the basket, not just way down low, but he can catch it and jam it anywhere. And he's active defensively, and he's a great passer. I mean, that's 3 guys that you're talking about right there that are impact players on the front line. Linda's saying the team had good chemistry. I'm with you there. They were in sync. I think connected is the word that coaches like to use. They look connected tonight. I'm with you there. SW Lion says Michigan basketball on fire, Michigan football. Well, let's go back to basketball. Well, we'll see. Check out the podcast from earlier today. Talked about the football team and what to take away from their victory over Purdue over the weekend. Let's look at some of these numbers. Linda mentioning Morez Johnson Jr., 24 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. What jumps out is the field goal percentage, 10 of 12 for MJJ. Plus, he drained all 4 free throws in 19 minutes. You like that? He had that block. Damari Burnett was in double figures with 14, 4 of 7 from downtown to his stat line. He'll like that. Mara, very impressive in this game, 12 and 12, about 6 of 9 from the floor. Roddy Gale Jr. had a pair of turnovers, but 11 points. He was in double figures. And you'll take what you got from Gale Jr. in every game. If you can get 11, 4, and 1, if those could be his season averages, why I would take that right now. Cadeau, if he's not the most important player, usually the point guard is. He's right there with Yaks. 5 points, 5 boards, 12 assists for Michigan's point guard. And then the bench, there you go. Trey McKinney, 21 points on 6 of 8 shooting from downtown, 7 of 10 from the floor, 25 minutes. And it looked like it was going to be maybe a few games or maybe even a few weeks, maybe a month or two. Looked at 26 before Trey McKinney would be what you would say maybe an impact guy, but he looked great tonight. So maybe that changes the calculus a little bit. Cheddar was awesome. If Cheddar could, give me 10 Cheddars and I'll go to the Final Four. 16 points for Will, 4 of 5 from downtown. I'd say give me these averages or give me the Cheddar average for the year, 16 points. Of course, that would be great news. Of course, if he could shoot 80% from downtown, that would be great news. 22 minutes for Yaks. He comes off the bench with the less than 100% right hand, 12 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 4 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from downtown, perfect from the free throw line, had a block, had a turnover. And there's Charlie May. Chalk him up with a triple. Oscar Goodman came in. He had a triple. And Malik Cordell got in there, the big fella, and you could see his size. So fantastic performance for Michigan and nothing but smiles around the Chrysler Center on a record-setting night. And Michigan, the 7th ranked team in the country, and that's only going up after a performance like this. They're not falling back. I think we could all say that. Let's check the upcoming schedule that is brought to you by the Maize and Blue Review, the channel that you're watching or listening to, or the feed that you have on right now. Hey, give yourself or that U of M fan in your life the gift of the Maize and Blue Review. It's very easy to do. Go to on3.com and hit the subscribe button. That's how you do it. And you get instant access. And then you're talking Michigan basketball all day and all night over on the Den. Same thing with football. I guarantee you'll love it. All right, here's the schedule. Taking a look at it. Michigan won't play now until Tuesday the 11th. So we're talking about a week from tomorrow. They will be back in action, and they will welcome in the ACC's Wake Forest, a 6:30 jump at the Chrysler Center. That game will be on FS1. And then peeking ahead, the first road game, that will be Friday the 14th, 9 o'clock. Rematch of the Fiesta Bowl. I don't know if Michigan basketball has ever played TCU. I don't recall it, but there'll be more than one person that, more than just me, that will be referencing that Fiesta Bowl. Michigan at TCU. That'll be a game on ESPN2. And then you've got, looking down the line, November 19th, a 6:30 start. No TV listed for MTSU. Is that Middle Tennessee State? I believe. I think I know MTSU for a player name. What was that guy's name? Giddy Potts, who bounced the number 2 seeded Michigan State Spartans out of the tournament. I think that's what happened. Tom Izzo, the great Tom Izzo, in that game, I got to see if I can get this right. It wasn't, 4-0 Middle Tennessee State, and he didn't call a timeout. It wasn't 10-0 or something like that. I think it was I'm going to have to go back and maybe I'll have to do it now. It was something like 16-2 run that they started out before Izzo. It was totally, if there was a any other coach or other coaches that would have done that, everybody, you kind of get it if it's a November against whoever you're playing and you want to make a point with your team, but this is the tournament. I'm going to say it was 19-2. Let's do it. Let's see if I can get a box score on that. Old Tom Izzo against Middle Tennessee State. 20-2, 24-2. It was something so ridiculous that if I was a Michigan State fan, I'd have said, Tom, you've lost. You just threw a tournament game away for being a hard-headed. What's the matter with you? I'm going to look it up. It's not giving me. MSU. It defaulted MTSU. It's not giving it to me. Oh, maybe no. Maybe 90-81, Middle Tennessee State. There it is. Let's see if I can get the play-by-play. I can. State lost that game 90-81 as the 2 seed. And it was even, let's see where he made it was 10-2, 12-2, 15-2 before Tom Izzo called a timeout. 15-2. When it was 10-2, I would have called a timeout. 5 more points. That's it. Looking down the line, talking about the schedule, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 talking about sitting out Yaks for Wake, TCU, Middle Tennessee State, and San Diego, and not bringing Yaks back for 3 weeks. Now look, no, they don't need him, but they didn't need him tonight. Why would they play him tonight if he wasn't going to be ready for 100% a week from now? That would have been a bad move. And I don't think Dusty's got this team. Let's press Yaks into service. Now, sure enough, he was. I don't know if Steve Smith said he was. They say wincing or favoring his hand. I mean, you could see it, But you have a wrap on. You throw one down, you're kind of just feeling it, hey, how's my hand feel? That kind of thing. So we'll see what May has to say. Maybe precautionary, and then he was just working his way through. Maybe it's just a cut. There's some speculation for you. Just a cut. Cut it, dunk it on the rim, and maybe he had to get a stitch or two, so he got it wrapped up. He'll be fine. You'd sit him for 3 weeks. I don't know. I'm not doing. If it was that bad, then he would not have played today. So that's it. Yeah, he's saying he wants him back by 100%. I would say that you'd want him back 100% a week for tomorrow when you're playing Wake Forest, and I would not have played him if I thought that he would not be 100%. So I'm going to go and say that he's going to be 100%, and that it's just a very minor thing. And you just see it like that 55, Linda Joe putting some numbers down, counting it out. Yeah, it was fun all the way around. Michigan sets a program record for most points at the half with 69. They score 121 points, win by 43, 121-78. That's the 5th highest scoring total they ever produced. They knocked down 19 triples, which tied a school record. So record-setting nights for the Maize and Blue. That's it. Thanks so much. Remember, I love seeing you guys. You know, a lot of you I recognize from last year. We'll do it again this year, and it's going to be a fun year. So 121-78, Michigan 1-0. This is the Michigan basketball postgame live show. I'm Dennis Fithian, Amazing Blue Review. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night out there, and take care of yourself.